Let me take you back to where it all started, late 2019, and walk you through the slow, deliberate fire I lit under the woman who thought she could play me. She was my high school sweetheart. We met at 17, married by 22, and spent the next 23 years building what I thought was a rock-solid life. 2 sons, a home I built with my own hands, loyalty, sacrifice. She was the only woman I had ever been with, and I never once looked elsewhere. Foolish in hindsight. By late 2019, I was limping around post-ACL surgery, out of work, out of routine, out of sync. My knee was a wreck, barely 50% range of motion, and the strain started showing. I couldn't keep up with housework. The i.e. physical intimacy, dead in the water. I chalked it up to recovery. What else could it be? She, let's call her Sue, began staying late at work more often, always with the same vague team happy hour excuse. I never questioned it. Trust was a given, until January 2020 when her affection flatlined. No hugs, no warmth. Her phone, once a shared treasure trove of recipes and memes, became a vault. Locked down, guarded. By March, NYC went into lockdown. Our jobs were deemed essential, so we kept commuting. I was finally cleared to return to work after 5 brutal months on the bench. Sue claimed she'd be working longer hours now. I believed her, until she started coming home late, every night. 3 hours late, straight to the shower. No eye contact, no conversation. Just enough interaction to not raise alarms, but emotionally she'd left the building. I was healing, physically, but what she didn't know was that I was watching. Not confronting, observing, calculating. By April, the patterns were clear. I saw the signs, the secrecy, the distance, the sudden bursts of irritation toward me for no reason. I dug deeper. Social media, phone records. It didn't take long to see him. The same man in every work photo, too close. 2. Always touching her in ways no co-worker should. He was in the background at first, then suddenly everywhere. And when I went to look him up, blocked. That's when the lights came on. Family phone plan gave me access to activity logs. Between October 2019 and April 2020, her most frequent contact, aside from me, was a number I didn't recognize. A quick reverse search? It was him. Let's call him what he is, POS. Still nothing concrete, just shadows, deleted messages, empty spaces. I needed a smoking gun. Enter Oz, my best friend since childhood. I showed him everything. He introduced me to an app that could quietly intercept and mirror her texts in real time. It took 3 days before I saw it. I had so much fun last night. Can't wait to see you again this weekend. Nudes, sexts, pet names, plans. I'll never forget how it felt. Not anger, not yet. Just emptiness. The kind that hollows out your chest and leaves a buzzing in your ears. I spent 2 days pretending everything was fine. She noticed something. Was off. I didn't let her in, couldn't. By day 3, the sadness was gone, replaced by something sharper, colder, resolve. I called Oz, told him I wasn't going to confront her. Not yet. This wasn't just going to be a divorce. I wanted her broken. I wanted her to feel the magnitude of what she threw away. But to do that, I had to vanish in plain sight, so I became unpredictable. I started going out at odd hours. I came home late, buried myself in my phone, changed all my passwords. She noticed. The seed of doubt began to grow in her mind. By July, Sue was unraveling. She started texting me constantly, asking when I'd be home, what I was doing, where I'd been. At the same time, she was messaging POS in full panic mode, worried I might be cheating. Her, the woman cheating on her husband of 2 decades, worried that I might be unfaithful. Poetic, really. She confessed to him that she didn't feel safe having him in our home anymore. Said she didn't know when I might show up, so yes, she brought him into my house. Into my bed, maybe. And now she was scared of me? One day, POS had the gall to ask if I might be seeing someone. Else, she got angry, said I was acting different, cold, distracted. Meanwhile, I was reading every message, every emoji. Every lie, and all I could do was smile. She said, "He doesn't even care how I feel anymore. I don't know what happened. I've lost him. This must be karma." She wasn't wrong. Karma just had a name now, me. She sat there unraveling, and I just watched, silent, cold, smiling like the Cheshire Cat while she begged for the very thing she'd shattered. Her POS tried justifying it all, said if I'd loved her enough, she wouldn't have needed him. But the doubt was already creeping in. She was cracking. The same woman who kept her affair alive for nearly a year while I recovered from an injury was now unraveling at the idea of me with another woman. Pathetic. Behind the scenes, I'd already put phase 2 in motion. By September, I'd retained a divorce attorney. New York's an at-fault state. With the receipts I had, texts, photos, timestamps, I could vaporize her in court. My lawyer said, "Get my finances in order." I went a step further. I drained the joint account. Moved everything to my personal account. Started apartment hunting, quiet, surgical. By November, I ramped things up. Enter Nina, my closest female friend. Sue always hated her, always saw her as a threat. She wasn't wrong. Nina had just returned from overseas, so we threw a small welcome party. Tight circle only. Took some cozy photos, Nina's idea, a little payback artfully staged, and posted to Facebook for maximum visibility. Sue found them 2 days later. Her reaction was priceless. "You were so handsy with her," she snapped. I smiled. "What about you and Poss last year? He had his hands all over you. Did I lose my mind over that?" She froze. First time I'd ever directly mentioned him. She scrambled, stammering excuses, said he's just friendly, said she'd delete the pics. I said, "The pictures didn't hurt me. The year-long affair while you lied about overtime and girls' nights did, and still I wasn't done." That night she clung to me like I was oxygen. Whispered apologies, said she felt like I hated her. I did. And then came the twist. She told Poss she was ending things, that the guilt was crushing her, that she still loved me, that she had to save her marriage. 8 months too late, sweetheart. POS lost it, said she was making a mistake, begged her not to throw him away. That was the last message he'd sent for weeks. Meanwhile, I finalized everything. Divorce papers signed, apartment leased, finances locked, and digital archives complete. Thanksgiving came. My eldest and his girlfriend hosted. I played the doting husband for show, kisses on her cheek, arms around her waist. She soaked it up. She didn't know it was a goodbye performance. Later that night, we had sex for the first time in months. I used a condom. First time in 20 years, she noticed. She didn't ask. The next morning, she replied to POS, said she loved him but couldn't lose me, that I was her forever and he'd always be a memory. He begged her for a final goodbye. She said yes, of course she did. One more for the road, right? December 4th. Phase 3, Operation Shinobi Ghost. I told my sons the truth, not the graphic details, just that their mother had been unfaithful and I was filing. My youngest was crushed, already fresh from his own heartbreak months before. My eldest offered to take him in. I agreed, then they left. The hardest part was done. What came next? Total erasure, cold exit, no warning, no second chances, just silence, distance, and the brutal weight of everything she lost. And me? I didn't just leave her. I left her with everything she feared, and took everything she never valued, my peace, my freedom, and my silence. Game over. My sister absolutely obliterated her. Both of her parents disowned her. But my mother, he eviscerated her. I've seen that side of her before, but the things she said to Sue were brutal, like verbal napalm. Sue's been desperately trying to locate me, but the people who know where I am have closed ranks. Complete radio silence. Her Facebook is a mess. Dozens of teary posts trying to reach me. I assume she realizes I'm probably watching, but I've got nothing to say. The next time I'm in the same room as her, it'll be with legal representation present. That's it. That's the only scenario where I'll acknowledge her existence. There's no narrative left for her to spin. I blew it wide open. Everyone who ever mattered to her knows what she did. A friend of mine at her company confirmed that both she and the affair partner are being placed on administrative leave starting tomorrow. She'll be kicking off 2021 unemployed, courtesy of her own recklessness. As for the last two binders, one's been handed over to my attorney, my final piece of evidence for the divorce. The other I locked away in my storage unit. Once the divorce is finalized, it's getting tossed into Joey's fire pit. Do I feel guilt? Not for a second. I gave that woman 23 years. I built her the home she wanted. I gave her the family she dreamed of. I loved her fully, faithfully, and without condition. I never strayed, never even considered it. I was honest when things needed fixing, and I always went to her first. We worked through it, or so I thought. Instead of speaking to me, she crawled into someone else's bed because he gave her a thrill. That's all it took. She didn't just betray our vows. She chose the easiest, most selfish way to handle dissatisfaction. So no, I don't feel bad. She made her bed. At most, I stand to lose a house, a car, and possibly a few hundred in temporary spousal support, but considering the divorce is being filed on grounds of adultery, that might get waived. New York State does allow for fault-based divorces under certain circumstances, and according to my lawyer, mine qualifies. Tomorrow I'll sit across from her and her lawyer for the first and last time, and I'll say what I need to say, then walk out. Christmas Day, a new beginning. This past Christmas was the first full day I spent in my new apartment. Still bare bones, still a work in progress, but it's mine. My boys came over with my eldest son's girlfriend, who brought a bunch of treats and even cooked us a proper meal. For the first time in a long time, I had a real conversation with my sons, without tension, without walking on eggshells. My sister came by too, brought more food and her usual sarcasm. She hadn't seen her nephews in almost a year. Having them around reminded me that I still had a life, that I mattered. If I'd been alone that day, I probably would have drowned in whiskey. After they left, I visited Joey and Claudia. A few drinks, a few laughs, then back home. Quiet. Peaceful. The 29th, a long time coming on. December 29th, I got a text from Nina. Asked if I was free that evening. I was. So we met for dinner not far from where I work. Indoor dining is still limited here in NYC, but we found a spot easily enough. She got right to it. Told me she's been in love with me since we were teenagers. Said she never had the chance to say it because Sue got to me first. For context, I've known Nina longer than I knew Sue. She was part of my high school crew, me, Oz, Joey, and her. Back then she was an outsider like us. A heavier goth girl with a sharp wit and a kind heart. Nobody gave her a second glance. But I always felt something these days. She's a personal trainer and yoga instructor. The glow-up is real. She's gone from overlooked to stunning. But more than that, she's still her, still loyal, still genuine. She told me she stepped back all those years ago, out of love for me. Didn't want to interfere with my happiness. That kind of love? That kind of self-sacrifice. You don't forget that. So yes, after dinner, I took her back to my place. We slept together. And no, I'm not ashamed. Nina has shown me more love, patience, and loyalty than Sue ever did. And I plan on seeing where this goes once my divorce is final. January 6th, the meeting. 2 weeks since I went no contact. Monday. My lawyer told me Sue's attorney wanted to meet. We met Tuesday to go over my terms. Full division of assets. I sell my share of the house to her. We keep our own vehicles. I keep the cabin in the Poconos. No spousal support due to marital misconduct. He has allowed temporary support. $653 a month for utilities. Until she gets back on her feet. She's got savings and a severance package, and I make enough that it doesn't sting. But once a year's passed, she's on her own. Come early April, I'll be free. The last conversation. After the meeting, she followed me outside. Midtown Manhattan, cold air, city noise. She breaks down, tells me she's sorry. That she never meant for it to go that far. That she never expected to fall for him. That it started because she thought I was cheating. She asks if one day I'll forgive her, if we could ever rebuild. I told her the truth. I told her this would be the last time she ever hears my voice, that our son, 17, is old enough to choose where he wants to live, that I gave her everything I had for 23 years, every bit of love I had, and in return, she gave herself to someone else and called it love. I told her I loved who she once was, but I hate who she's become, that I don't wish her well. I wish her gone. If I never saw her again, it'd be too soon. She cried. People stared. I didn't care. I'd already scorched her social world. I'd already ended her career. I wasn't going to yell or make a scene, but I needed her to hear it. I said I didn't regret the life we had. I regretted that she chose the coward's path, that she could have come to me, that she didn't. And as I turned to leave, I told her this. For 23 years I thought you were mine, but you were just my turn. She's finished. My sister dismantled her. Her parents disowned her. But my mother delivered the final blow, calm, cutting, and unforgettable. Now she's unraveling. Vague social posts, pathetic attempts to reach me, fishing for closure. She'll find silence. The next time we speak, it'll be through legal counsel. That's not a warning, it's a verdict. She lost her job. HR had no choice once the affair surfaced. Both of them, out. Her new year began with a severance email. Fitting. I kept 2 binders. One went to my lawyer. The other? It'll turn to ash once the ink on the divorce dries. Regret? None. I gave her 2 decades of loyalty. Built her life. Raised our son with integrity. Never crossed a line even when I was drowning. I tried to fix us. She chose to cheat, so I chose to disappear. She can keep the house. I want peace. I'll keep the cabin. She was never welcome there. No spousal support. Adulterers don't get a paycheck for betrayal. She begged for a meeting. I gave her one. Final terms only. She cried on the pavement afterward, clinging to some ghost of what we were. Claimed it was a mistake. Blamed her affair on suspicion. I was cheating. Classic deflection. Pathetic projection. I looked her dead in the eyes and said, "You never belonged to me. I just had my turn." Then I turned my back for good.